There's something magical that happens when rhythm becomes emotion, when a drummer's hands, heart, and mind move as one. Few drummers in history have mastered that balance like Neil Peart of Rush. He wasn't just the beat behind the band, he was its spirit, crafting intricate rhythms that told stories. But today, another name carries that same kind of artistic depth, Anika Nilles. And many fans believe that her unique groove is something Neil Peart himself would have loved. Anika Nilles has a sound that feels both futuristic and deeply human. Her drumming isn't about volume or flash, it's about intention. Every stroke, every accent, every pause feels carefully chosen, yet completely natural. When she sits behind her kit, she doesn't just play music, she speaks it. That same sense of narrative drumming was what made Neil Peart legendary, and it's why so many fans are drawing comparisons between the two. Like Peart, Anika understands that drumming is storytelling. She's not just keeping time, she's shaping emotion. Listen to her tracks like Synergy or Alter Ego, and you'll hear layers of rhythm that flow like a conversation between heartbeats. Her grooves feel alive, as if the drums themselves are breathing. It's technical mastery wrapped in pure feeling, something Neil Peart built his entire career upon. What makes her groove so special is the way it bridges the gap between complexity and comfort. She can make an odd time signature sound like it belongs in pop music, and that's no easy feat. It's the same kind of brilliance Peart brought to Rush, making the impossible sound effortless. Both drummers also share an almost obsessive dedication to their craft. Neil Peart spent countless hours refining his technique, studying jazz, and reinventing his style throughout his career. Anika Nilles does the same. Her YouTube performances and masterclasses show a perfectionist who constantly challenges herself to discover new rhythmic languages. And yet, despite her precision, she never loses the feel. That's where her art shines brightest. Her groove doesn't just move your head, it moves your soul. Fans often say she embodies the spirit of Neil Peart, not by imitation, but by evolution, taking what he built and carrying it into a new era of sound. If Neil Peart could hear Anika Nilles play today, he'd recognize that same hunger for musical truth, that pursuit of rhythm that's not just heard, but felt. To understand why Neil Peart would have loved Anika Nilles' groove, you have to look beyond the drums themselves. Both artists approached rhythm as a form of storytelling, not just a performance. Neil's drumming in Rush was filled with movement, dynamics, and character. Every fill, every roll had a meaning. Anika carries that same torch, but she's giving it a modern twist, using her groove to communicate emotions that words can't fully express. Her compositions often surprise listeners with unexpected rhythmic turns. Just when you think you've figured out her pattern, she changes direction, not to show off, but to keep the listener engaged. It's controlled unpredictability, the same element that made Peart's drumming so unforgettable. She makes complexity sound beautiful, not complicated. Even Neil Peart's fans, who are some of the most passionate and protective of his legacy, have admitted that Anika's playing feels like something he would have appreciated. It's not imitation, it's inspiration. She represents the kind of growth Neil always encouraged among musicians, learning from the past but never getting trapped in it. In interviews, Anika has often talked about how music should move people first, then impress them. That philosophy mirrors Peart's own view, that the technical side of drumming only matters if it serves emotion and storytelling. Watching her perform, you can sense that connection. A quiet confidence that doesn't demand attention, but earns it. It's controlled unpredictability, the same element that made Peart's drumming so unforgettable. She makes complexity sound beautiful, not complicated. Even Neil Peart's fans, who are some of the most passionate and protective of his legacy, have admitted that Anika's playing feels like something he would have appreciated. It's not imitation, it's inspiration. She represents the kind of growth Neil always encouraged among musicians, learning from the past but never getting trapped in it. In interviews, Anika has often talked about how music should move people first, then impress them. That philosophy mirrors Peart's own view, that the technical side of drumming only matters if it serves emotion and storytelling. Watching her perform, you can sense that connection. A quiet confidence that doesn't demand attention, but earns it. It's controlled unpredictability, the same element that made Peart's drumming so unforgettable. She makes complexity sound beautiful, not complicated. Another reason Neil Peart might have admired her is her courage to break norms. Anika carved her path in a male-dominated industry, proving that excellence isn't about gender, it's about mastery. Her success inspires a generation of new drummers to explore creativity without limits, something Neil himself championed throughout his life. In a world filled with digital perfection and pre-recorded beats, Anika's groove reminds us that real rhythm still has a heartbeat. She plays with purpose, like every note is alive. Her control of tone, her use of ghost notes, and her flawless timing reveal a mind deeply in sync with the music, the same kind of spirit Neil Peart had when he performed his iconic solos. If Neil Peart could witness her today, he wouldn't see competition. He'd see continuation. He'd see a drummer who understands that the groove is sacred, that rhythm can be both intelligent and emotional, and that music's true power lies in the space between the notes. Anika Nilles may not have set out to follow in Neil Peart's footsteps, but her journey has created a bridge between generations. Her groove is proof that drumming, like storytelling, never dies. It simply finds new voices. And if there's one thing we can say for sure, it's this: Neil Peart would have loved that. Anika Nilles represents something rare in modern music, a drummer who doesn't just chase fame or speed, but chases meaning. Her sound is both technical and emotional, blending science and soul in a way that few can achieve. And that's exactly why so many believe Neil Peart would have admired her. Because beyond the fame and the records, Peart always cared about one thing: truth in music. When you listen to Anika play, you can feel that same truth. It's in her timing, in her phrasing, and even in her silences. She's not afraid to let the drums breathe, to give space where others might fill it with noise. That's the mark of maturity, the understanding that sometimes the power of rhythm lies not in what you play, but in what you don't. Both Neil and Anika share that deeper understanding of music's purpose, connection. They remind us that drumming isn't about dominance, it's about dialogue. Every beat is a word, every groove a sentence. Together, they form a language that transcends time. As Anika continues to rise, her work stands as a living tribute to the kind of musical integrity Neil Peart represented. She's not trying to replace him. She's expanding his legacy, showing the next generation that greatness isn't about comparison, but continuation. So, if you've ever found yourself moved by a Rush solo or hypnotized by Anika's flawless timing, you're witnessing two worlds connected by rhythm, two artists who speak the same musical language across generations. And maybe that's the real story here. Neil Peart didn't just inspire drummers, he inspired dreamers. And Anika Nilles, she's proved that the dream is still alive, still evolving, still grooving. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to check out our other videos on Anika Nilles, from how she developed her unmatched technique to how she became the drummer everyone in the music world is talking about. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Because rhythm never dies, it just finds a new heartbeat.